coming out there of that tunnel at the top of the steps. There was a guy that was about 3 steps down and a guy at the top of the steps, and they're yelling at each other, saying, try it, try it. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, one of them's about to knock the other one down the stairs.
Put him up.
The guy who's at the top of the steps let the other guy come up the steps, and they're still squaring off. One guy's like, come closer. You make the first move or whatever. And then the other guy who had been below and that was up was like, you're just talking, but you're not doing anything. And then the other guy kept talking, and then the first guy went, meow, 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 meow. The whole Meow Mix song. That, he meow mixed him.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course you were.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I am Giulio Gallerati, joined by Francis Ellis himself, the man with the rolly, the man with the sneaks, the man with the black sweater.
Yep.
He's looking good and he's ready to rip. I like those pants, too.
Thank you. You look great. We're the inverse of each other.
Yeah, we are, actually.
I got the green pants,
We
the
didn't do
black
it on
top.
purpose.
You got the black pants and the green top.
We didn't do it on purpose, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, dude?
You know, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am well. Things really came to a head yesterday, though.
With what?
My rage.
Oh, wow. So for anybody who hasn't been keeping up, Francis's rage has been building steadily, and he's due to burst.
It's bad.
And he sounds as if he may have burst yesterday.
It was really bad. Looking back, I'm kind of really shocked and worried about me.
Based on yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear what happened.
So I woke up super early. Now, keep in mind, right? I'm doing now. I guess you'd have to call it now a damp January.
So have you had more drinks besides that one drink? The post-Tesla celebratory drink?
I had that celebratory drink, and then that was 2 weekends ago. And then this past weekend on Saturday night, I had a beer.
Okay.
One beer. And then on Sunday, I had one more beer.
Mm-hmm. And
then I haven't had it. Well, then last night, I actually went out to dinner for a friend's going away party. And a bunch of my friends, it was all my friends, and I was the only person not drinking. And,
wow.
and they were drinking heavily. And there's something, too, about knowing that the bill is going to reflect all the drinks of all your friends, but nobody's going to discount you for not drinking.
And I know that people listening might be thinking, well, why couldn't you could, but you don't want to be the guy who has a pen and is adding up
I'm
you
sorry.
don't want to be that guy.
Also, you can't do that in my group of friends.
I would argue you can't do it in mine either.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to be a savage, you might be able to try, but everybody would judge you.
My friend group,
you just have to take the L.
You can't do that. You know what you're signing up for when you come to the dinner, And
especially with a big dinner. I will say this, if there was 4 of us and 3 of us were drinking heavily, the person who wasn't drinking wouldn't say anything, but I would be like, why don't we leave the tip?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We'll take the tip.
Yeah,
you don't tip.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Well, either way.
Real quick, can I add to the damp January thought before we progress here? I realize I am sort of doing a damp January.
Oh.
My January is damper than yours.
A little damp?
It's wet. It's not soaked. I have a wet January, but not a soaking wet January. My policy has been, I am attempting to not drink more than will make me hungover. So it's 3 drinks maximum, maybe a 4th. One time I had 4, woke up fine. Don't want to tempt fate on that one, but I've really liked my relationship with alcohol because of
How many nights a week?
Okay, so since I've probably drank in January 4 times.
Oh.
5 times. But
that's pretty solid.
After my show in Florida, I had 4.
Yeah.
Which is if I had 5, that night is a different night.
That's a sopping.
You know what I mean? That's slightly wetter.
Yeah. That's basement flooding January. The basement has flooded.
That's almost by January.
We are throwing out furniture.
We're 8 drinks. I'm 3 or 4 drinks away from by January. Really going for it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Okay, cool. So tell us more.
Well, So I'm out to dinner with all my friends, and I said, what do I have to live for? Not live for. What do I have to stand for? Do I have anything to stand for left in this commitment to Dry January?
Yeah.
Because I can't call it Dry January anymore. I've had a drink each Saturday. But that's the only days that I've had a drink. And it's been one.
Dude, I think that I think that the strategy reflects regardless.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be so extreme. There's no reason for you to do it to begin with.
New York Times wrote an article that said even if you fall a little short on this, it's still a really good exercise, and don't think very poorly of yourself. Don't think,
Totally.
I couldn't even last a month. I have a huge problem. You know, it's like things happen.
Totally.
And so I moved my own goalposts a bit, and I said, okay, I'm not going to drink during the week. And last night, was a very difficult test because none of my friends were doing it with me. They kind of thought like, wow, why would you do that? Life's hard enough. Why would you not drink? And it was a big celebratory dinner, and they were piling on round after round after round. And so I ended up drinking 3 non-alcoholic lychee martinis.
Nice. Did you secretly order them non-alcoholic?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't faking it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a creep.
Yeah.
It's not like I was faking it while my friends were getting drunker so I could try to make out with them later. Like I was in high school or something.
By January.
Yeah.
By January, dude.
No, they knew, and I was a little ashamed. It's not a great
Were they
circle.
giving you a hard time?
Not really, but it just puts up a little bit of a wall.
Yeah.
You're on your own island. If there's 10 dudes and 9 of them are drinking and you're not.
Yeah, I don't think I would have lasted.
Yeah.
Good
But
for-
I
good
did
for
it.
you.
I had 3 lychee martinis. Now, it does sort of raise the question of, well, if you're not drinking, and then you end up ordering 3 non-alcoholic cocktails, like that's not good for you either. I mean, these are
Right.
basically like sodas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how many non-alcoholic lychee martinis can I have before it's like, you still have an issue here.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But I did really like the lychee itself. I was almost ordering them because I wanted more lychees. I like eating those.
Lychees are nice.
They look like little sea anemones or something. Anyway,
they look like pollen.
yeah. And so I had that. I had 3 non-alcoholic lychee martinis. But I stayed true to not drinking during the week, which was good. But all of this was to say that Dry January, I was taking stock of my rage issues and thinking that having a clearer head and a clearer spirit and being better rested might help me to, calm down a little bit and sort of become a little bit more meditative about my feelings and my moods and have a better control over them. And I really thought that was working. I thought things were really going well. I thought, boy, I've been better. I've been better.
good.
And then, dude.
But you had been getting angry.
Yeah, but in the
Randomly.
last week and a half, I cut off weed completely too.
Oh wow.
And then I felt like I was really kind of I was letting the
Ticking time bomb?
the angry waters were receding a bit.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then I thought in the last week and a half, my anger was getting less bad.
Wow.
In fact, maybe gone.
Wow.
But then, dude, I woke up at, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning with Ruby because she had to go to the bathroom. And then I was just up and I was tired. But I decided to make use of the time. I read my book. And then this was on Monday. And I then drove at 7:30 to Whole Foods to pick up groceries for the week. I've never been into the grocery store when the doors open to the first customer.
Wow.
And let me tell you something, dude. That place is set up like a kingdom for you.
Wow.
Every sort of pyramid of avocados, there's none missing.
It's like the show where you like have to find all the stuff in the grocery store.
Yeah,
Whoever thought
supermarket
that's a
sweep.
genius, by the way.
I mean, there's nothing missing. You get your pick of the litter from every vegetable selection, from every, all of the oat milks are up to the front. Every storage case is stocked. The fish has been laid out perfectly. You can select your own fillet. The monger isn't tired yet.
Yeah.
He's happy to see you. What
Wow.
would you like? This just came off the boat.
Wow.
And it was really cool. I was going through the store, and by the way, this is the other thing. You can get
It opens at 7?
it opens at 8.
Got it.
But I got there at 7:58. To the degree that I was just standing in front of the automatic doors, wondering, will these open when the time sets, or will I need to move to get them to open?
And what happened?
Well, I sort of stood there motionless, testing my theory. I stood there stock still.
The little things.
And then 8 o'clock came on my watch, and I thought, oh.
Did you have to stomp?
I moved. Well, I jumped. I did a little jump, and then they opened, and I thought, that was fun.
This reminds me of when I locked myself out and was waiting for the gym to open.
Yeah.
So I could go in there. Dude, wow.
The other thing about going that early is that there's nobody in the store, so you get a big shopping cart. Normally, I do not pick the huge shopping cart because the store is so crowded that it makes the whole shopping experience that much more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You're just bumping around.
Totally.
You're trying to, excuse me. Sorry. Hello. Excuse me. Little old lady picking out green
Coming
onions.
through.
Yeah. And these carts are gigantic. And unless you're stocking up for fucking flood, there's no reason to have one. They have the next size down as the smaller, like half cart, which I usually like that. But if I'm really doing a quick run, I just get the little hand basket.
Is there one close to you?
Yeah. In Gowanus. 15-minute drive.
Do you ever go to...
Has a parking lot.
What's the other one? There's a really good grocery store near you.
Wegmans.
Do you ever go there?
Wegmans is solid.
You like Whole Foods better?
I do.
Yeah.
I think the produce is better at Whole Foods.
I believe it.
Either way, I went in. I was just wheeling around. Had all the room in the world. All the best groceries had just been stocked for the week. Everything.
So things were looking good.
I was really having a good time, and I got all my groceries. No wait in the line. Now I will say they didn't. I guess that early they don't give you cashiers. So they made me go to self-checkout, which took me a long time.
Finding the code for
Dear
the avocado.
God. Flattening out a bag of potatoes so that the barcode reads.
Oh, God.
Any of those rumply bags, rounded bags, you got to flatten out the... It's fucking annoying, man. It made me realize that cashiers are skilled people.
Yeah.
And I miss that skill because I'm not skilled as a cashier.
Mm.
It was taking me a long time to scan.
And is this where the anger began to build up?
A little bit.
Okay.
But I wasn't reckoning with it. I wasn't thinking about it.
Right.
Then I get back in my car, load my car, pull my car out, and I'm driving home. Now I'm driving along Smith Street in Brooklyn. I think that's Cobble Hill.
Mm-hmm. I just remember my mom came when she first moved here.
Oh, interesting.
To America.
It is a crawl though. I think there's so many red lights.
A lot of one-way streets.
Each block has its own red light, it seems. And it's a long road, and it's now 8:30, 8:45, so a lot of parents are bringing their kids to school. A lot of people are, I don't know, it was busy. So it was bad traffic. And so each stoplight that I stop at, I pull up my phone, I'm playing chess. Green light, maybe I'm 3 seconds behind. Guy behind me in a Nissan Altima honks. And I say, sorry. I go. Pull up to the next light. Red light. Chess. Green light. Don't see it. Honk. I go. All right? So I'm wrong so far. I'm wrong so far. And I know it. But then I said I can't chess anymore.
I'm wrong so far.
But I realize I don't want to do this. Now, let me add that that when the light turned green, the distance to the next car through the intersection, I mean, it was almost as though I needed to wait for them to
cross
clear so that I wouldn't be waiting in the intersection. That's how much traffic there was.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to go. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I had timed the lights perfectly, green light, nah.
Yeah.
I'm going through the intersection and then stopping, right? But this guy is a guy who doesn't care about what's ahead. He only cares that we move the second the light turns green. There are people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That
it doesn't matter that They don't even let you progress slowly to the
Yeah.
next red light.
They're hurry up and wait people.
Yeah.
Hurry up to get to the next. We need to maximize the the time we have. Even though it's all the same. It's all the same. I'm not missing lights. We're not getting to the next light and having it turn yellow and then red because I was delayed on this green light.
Totally.
We're only I'm stuck bumper to bumper at each
Stuck in the middle with you.
at each block basically. So after the second time of this happening, I said, "Oh, I can't do chess at the red lights anymore." And I put my phone down, and then I went to another light and went through it or whatever, and then there was like a FedEx truck or something that was double parked on the left, and so I had to slow down because the gap between the FedEx truck and the cars that were parked on the right was only one lane. It was narrow, so I had to take that a little slower. And as I slowed down for that, the guy behind me, keep in mind, this is a one-way road, one lane.
Yeah.
Speeds up and goes around me. But we get to the point where our cars are both going forward. Like, he hasn't passed me.
Yeah.
And I had to make a decision of, do I want to shoot the gap and risk an accident with this guy, or am I going to concede on this? And of course I conceded.
Gotta concede.
And he passed me because he was tired of me not
Of you dilly
going with the green lights, even though we had nowhere to go. So of course, within 10 yards of him going through that gap and then me following, we're stopped again. And I'm furious. I'm telling you, dude, I hadn't felt this level of rage. I don't know if I could pinpoint a time in my life recently where I was this mad.
It's not good.
All reason gone.
Yeah.
No reason. I want to see him get out of the car. I'm getting out of the car. No thought about. I'm thinking I have my hydro flask.
And you're gonna
sitting
beat
in
him
the
with
seat,
it?
and I'm gonna use this to
You're gonna
bash his
him in the
brains
head.
in.
Yeah.
And if he
This
doesn't
is
get
very bad, dude. This is
if-
unhealthy.
if he doesn't get out of the car, then I'm gonna get out and I'm going to knock the mirrors off of his car with my bludgeon hydro flask. And I'm trying to think like, okay, well, I start. By the way, then somehow it was like we ended up pulling up to a light seconds later, and now I'm next to him, and I roll my window down. And he's staring straight forward.
Yeah.
And he's like probably 50, 55-ish. And I went, "Hey! Hey!" Screaming at him. I go, "You coward! You coward!" People are looking around. I was furious
Why were you so mad?
because he had almost run me off the road.
Gotcha.
When he pulled up alongside, we were both driving, getting to this narrow area, and if
Okay.
I had pressed the issue, I would have hit the FedEx truck.
Got it.
And so I had to slam on my brakes. So he almost caused me to get into an accident.
Okay.
And for some reason in my mind, I just fast forwarded to like having children. And I was like, well, if I had my daughter in the car, he would have put us both at risk. So I deserve to be as mad at him now as though I had a child in the car, which makes no sense.
No sense.
Um,
Mama bear instincts.
yeah. And I'm screaming at him, and he's not looking at me, but he can definitely hear me, right? I'm 3 feet from him. I'm screaming at him.
Dude. Jesus.
And then I let him go. He goes behind me, and I'm thinking like, well, do I ram him? No, that would cause damage to my car, and I'd be arrested. Do I get out and knock the mirrors off of his car? No, there would be closed circuit television cameras on all the bodegas that were driving by, which would catch me doing that. I would get arrested and probably sued. What can I do? Now, the car was part of a car service. So this guy was a driver.
7777777.
That's exactly right. One of those. And it had a phone number.
How am I driving?
It had a huge phone number on the trunk, huge lettering, as well as the number, the hashtag symbol, like the number symbol, and then like a 4-digit number, which I assumed
like
was his code,
Right.
and then a circle with the number 70 in it, which might have been like his specific vehicle. And it was like, need a ride, call this number. So I was really, and this is where I think I am able to separate myself from just the base impulse rage people who would get out and like smash his window in or do something violent, right? I spent 8 blocks driving behind this guy, not doing anything, thinking about what I should do. And then I called the number. And his dispatcher picked up. And I said, "Hi, I'm driving behind a car of yours that nearly just ran me off the road." And he said, "What happened?" And I said, "This is what happened. Is this your car?" And he was like, "Read the number." And I read the number, and he's like, "Yeah, that's our car. Like, what would you like me to do?" And I was like, "Well, I just thought that they were really reckless and, really kind of put me in a dangerous position, and I had to really be careful, and I just wanted you to know." And he said, "Okay, I'm really sorry. I'll call the driver now." And then I was still behind him. And then I started to worry that he was going to get the call.
You just see him flailing in the car.
Yeah. I should add, by the way, that the dispatcher had a very thick Russian accent.
Hello.
Yeah. And that made me worry that the driver probably was Russian,
was just
too.
like a crazy unhinged
And
Russian.
then therefore I don't want to fuck with these people.
Yeah, agreed.
And so I'm driving now behind this guy. Again, stops and starts. And I had to go another 4 blocks behind him to get to Atlantic Avenue, at which point I was going to go left. And I just decided to go left sooner. And I went left and he went straight so that I got away from the situation.
Well done.
And then I drove home and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
It's not good, dude. You got to blow off some steam. Just go like chop some wood or something, dude.
What am I doing? Like why was I so mad?
I don't know.
I was yelling. I don't yell. I'm not a yeller. I'm a loud person. I'm
yeah,
not
but
a
maybe
yeller.
that's it. Like maybe you are too concerned with keeping calm or something. Like, dude, I'm not a shrink. But like, and maybe that means that you don't need to be so calm all the time so that you don't have outbursts of rage.
You know what I thought about doing?
Hmm.
I thought about telling the dispatcher that I could see that somebody was trying to kick their way out of the trunk of the car and that there was a human prisoner in there. But that seemed too silly. Like that wouldn't have led anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wanted to find a way to get him in that level of trouble and say like, hey, I've called the police. There's somebody trying to free themselves from the trunk of this car that has your company's phone number on the back.
I mean, dude, I've definitely Googled how to get revenge on a business before, and the Reddit thread is always hilarious.
Yeah.
It's nobody, you know what I mean? And then you just realize it's not worth it eventually once you cool off.
Sierra suggested that I should go somewhere and yell at the top of my lungs, just into a void, into some sort of chasm.
Have you told your shrink about this?
No, she
You
had to
should.
reschedule me because she had a
Yeah.
dentist appointment.
Oh, damn. I need to get one of those on the books too. It's funny, dude. I mean, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's something. It's a thing, you know?
This is unusual. I don't operate with this this current running through me beneath the surface. At this frequency.
2023, Francis. I'm just mad, bro.
What am I mad about?
I don't know.
What am I mad
But
about?
you've been saying this has been a recurring theme that you even will tell me. You'll be like, dude, I'm just like pissed off at people. I'm pissed off at this person for this reason. I'm pissed about this. I'm pissed about that.
But here's what scares me. I hadn't been feeling pissed off whatsoever.
Well, that's good then.
And then this moment happened and I snapped.
You have road rage.
I snapped. And
Yeah.
that makes me realize that it's just lurking at any minute. And therefore I have no idea how to ward it off.
Gotta talk to the shrink. Dude, so I have not been sleeping because they are doing absurd road work in the middle of the night right outside my window.
Really?
Dude, I'm not even kidding you. It sounds like it's like they're sawing metal in a way where there's nowhere I can go. I can't escape unless I jump out the window and to my death.
Yeah.
And perish. There's no escaping. And like Hill and I are waking up at different moments of the night being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like we haven't been sleeping. And inevitably, coffee has been a very important part of our lives these days.
I bet you're running through it.
And thank God for the Oops beans, man. We've ground up a bunch of it, sitting there in the fridge, just waiting for it to be consumed.
Yeah, you know what you can do is you could pour some water over that and let it soak and create some cold brew for yourself. So it's nice and caffeinated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can make your own cold brew.
Dude, Hill Dog on cold brew, man. It's as if it's somebody who's been on like a 5-day bender and hasn't slept. She's bouncing around the apartment.
Bouncing around. Maybe she's the one tossing all the hangobies all over the place. Just wakes up in the middle of the night.
This will show them.
I love it when they explode during the ad reads.
But thank God for Brooklyn Roasting Company, man. It's literally keeping us awake and alive.
Yeah. It's the best. You gotta take the edge off when you haven't slept. Coffee is so important. We love our coffee from Brooklyn Roasting Company. It's been our signature product there. The Oops Beans. Try the blend, guys. Trust us. It's so light. It's so delicious. Make some espresso with it. Make some drip coffee. Whatever your pleasure. Go to brooklynroasting.com. Use promo code OOPSBEANS. That'll get you 5% off. Buy a few tins. Trust me. You're going to love the tins. They've got our signature logo. Nice colors. They're really nice. That's brooklynroasting.com. Promo code OOPSBEANS. Here's another example. Yesterday, this one's less anger, but I was walking out of the office to the subway, and I turned a corner. It was like on probably 26th Street, and I was turning right onto 6th Avenue to walk to the F. And I had my headphones on. I had my big over-ear headphones on, but I was between songs or something. I was trying to find a new song, so I could hear what was being said. And I walked by a guy and then a second guy who said to the first guy, "What the fuck did you say to me?" And then the other guy turned and said something. And then I watched the guy who said, "What the fuck did you say to me?" bend down, and he had his bicycle right there, and it was chained. And there was a chain on the bike.
Oh, God.
And he started pulling the chain out.
Oh, God.
And walking down the block after him. And I was like, oh, God, he's about to
chain him.
Whip him with that chain. It wasn't a heavy chain.
But
it was
still,
like,
bro. I
get
it.
Do you remember that game Road Rash? The motorcycle racing game?
Maybe. I
used to play it on
the
my
video game.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So that was a weapon.
Game.
That was a weapon in the game. You could whip people with a chain.
When you drove by. Yeah.
It was that thin of a chain.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could kick people, whip them.
It was a great game.
Great game. And I thought he was going to do that. And I stopped to watch, and this is bad. But I pulled out my phone to start filming, I think because I thought I should do it for evidence, not for content. I didn't, but that's also
that's not bad.
I don't know. You should step in.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You should step
bro,
in.
You don't need to step in between a chain. Let those guys. This is New York, bro. You gotta let people figure their shit out.
Got it.
Most of the time, I think,
But
unless like you see a woman being attacked or something.
Right.
If it's two unreasonable people fucking yelling at each other, they should know to back down.
Yeah. Well, oh man, I have another story about that. Okay, so and I want to stop telling stories because this is something I do. But I was filming, and then a guy who had been with the guy, I don't know if they were together or not, but the guy who had been with the guy, he'd witnessed another guy, third guy, had witnessed the exchange. And he he starts walking towards me. He goes, "Don't film this. Don't film this." And I was like, "Why not?" And he goes, "Because you didn't."
Fran in the wild.
He goes, "Did you hear what he said to him?" And I go, "No, I have headphones on, but I wasn't listening to anything."
Nice.
And it didn't help that this guy was now talking to me, and my headphones were still on, and I was responding very clearly. But I hadn't heard what he said. I go, "Oh, I don't have headphones on." I was like, "No, I didn't hear it. I have headphones on. How could I have heard it?" And he goes, well, if you'd heard what he said, then you'd understand why he was walking after him. And I was like, well, what did he say? He was like, I can't even repeat it. And
was that
and
a
then
racial slur?
It must have been. And
because dude, there is a thing where like it's ridiculous the idea that like there are things that you could say where people are like, what'd you say to me? Like a stranger, especially when it's something like abstract. if it's like your mother's a whore,
Yeah.
that like the idea that you're now supposed to fight that person is so stupid.
I know.
You're gonna fight a guy, bro. What are you doing? Like, who gives a shit if that guy got one on you? Like, you want to fight a guy and now have to go to court?
Right.
You know what I mean? Fuck all of that shit, dude.
Agreed.
Yes, dude. Say whatever you want
Yeah.
about my mother who you don't know. I'm gonna go buy a granola bar. You know, it's just not worth it, dude. It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth the smoke, dude.
Oh, that's
It's not
good.
worth it. It's
That's
not worth
really
it.
good.
It's not
Well,
worth it.
so I'm now having this completely absurd conversation with this new guy. And you know what I did, which is a superpower? I played dumb.
Oh, nice.
I go, no, I don't know what he said. And he goes, well, if you'd heard it, you'd understand or whatever. And I was like, well, how could I have heard it? I had headphones on. And he was like, it was bad. I can't repeat it. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I guess I wouldn't have tried to film this if I had heard it. Dude, let me say something. Let me say something.
That's so
when
funny.
you're an intelligent person, if you in the moment have the mastery of playing dumb, it is a deeply empowering thing.
Yeah.
It's a superpower. Playing dumb is awesome. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Mhm.
You're lying, I know perfectly well what had happened, and
You're like, oh, if I had heard what he had said, I would have been more likely to film, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
exactly. Like, this is an escalating situation.
Yeah.
I'm nearby,
Yeah.
I want to be a Karen here,
Yeah.
and I'm filming it, and I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't know. And then the guy, because when you play dumb like that, he instantly was like, that's all good, and then he dapped me up.
They treat you like a child.
They-
the way
yes,
a child
exactly.
doesn't know any better. He doesn't know any better.
He doesn't know any better. I'm sorry that I assumed you were a bad person. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
You're just a stupid person.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I'm not a stupid person. I know I'm not a stupid person, but I convinced that guy that I was a stupid person. And that is oh my God, it is so, when you can do it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You should try it.
I'm sure that I have at points.
Because it's not, in a way, to me, it's not demeaning to your own intelligence. Because you're not stupid.
you're not even playing dumb per se. Like, you are playing dumb, but you're not necessarily playing stupid. You're playing the idea that this guy believes that there is this binding code of filming disputes that you could know about. He feels that since now he has told you, he feels it's believable
Right.
that you would be like, oh,
Right.
which is absurd because
Right.
it's ridiculous.
Right.
But that guy just doesn't get it. He's in another universe.
True. But he gave me a total get out of jail free
Yeah,
card.
yeah.
Playing dumb was my get out of jail free card.
Yeah, well done.
And it was as if he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I
I'm sorry
spoke
that, yeah.
harshly to you. We're good. I appreciate
We cool?
I appreciate
cool.
you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you,
Yeah,
sir, for explaining it to me.
yeah.
And we walked away friends. I don't know if
That's good.
friends is strong, but that was a really interesting light bulb moment for me.
Yeah.
Is that you can really get out of things by playing dumb.
That's good.
You really can. A lot of the time, if you're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't, especially with strangers who don't know that you're actually smart enough to know what happened.
Right.
People who know you, it's harder.
Totally.
Because they're like, you knew.
You knew.
You knew.
You knew.
You come on.
You
You
knew.
knew. I didn't know I couldn't say that. I didn't know what that meant. All right, last thing.
Okay.
Couple nights before that, I walked by 23rd Street, turned off of 7th Avenue to go left. I was taking a slightly different route to the F train. There's an exit from the 7 train on 23rd and 7th.
From the 7 train?
Excuse me, the
one.
1 train.
Yeah.
On 23rd and 7th, I'm on the northeast corner. And coming out there of that tunnel at the top of the steps, there was a guy that was about 3 steps down and a guy at the top of the steps, and they're yelling at each other, saying, try it, come at me, you won't, furious, hands are up. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, one of them's about to knock the other one down the stairs.
Put him up.
and the guy who's at the top of the steps let the other guy come up the steps, and they're still squaring off. And one guy's like, come closer, you make the first move or whatever. And then the other guy who had been below and that was up was like, you're just talking, but you're not doing anything. And then the other guy kept talking, and then the first guy went, meow, 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 meow. The whole Meow Mix song. That he meow mixed him. Dude, I started laughing so fucking hard that other pedestrians were like, what is happening? It was the greatest move I've ever seen. He goes, all I hear is meow, 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 meow. Dude, the Meow Mix jingle.
He's like, that's what you hear.
Oh my God.
That's what you hear?
It was so
Dude,
good. I loved it.
That's hilarious.
And I really wished that I had filmed that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, it was
The
so
ultimate. Did they end up fighting?
No.
There's this I don't know if this is actually true, but anybody I know who fights is convinced that as long as the other person punches you first, you're good or something.
Mm-hmm. Then it's self-defense.
It has to be more complicated than that, but they all believe that. The amount of times I've seen, come on.
Yeah.
Like trying to get the guy to do it first.
Right. I think
ridiculous.
it's a combination of probably knowing that, as you said, yes, the consequences are worse for the person who throws the first punch.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, they are pretty confident that the person that they're egging on is too cowardly to actually engage in violence, which, thank goodness. Thank goodness a lot of the world is wired that way.
Yeah.
Imagine if every time we were like, you won't, someone immediately did. It would just
It'd be bad.
Blood in the streets.
It'd be bad.
There would be blood everywhere. That's what Russia is like. Dudes in Adidas track pants
being
immediately accepting invitations to punch another guy in the face.
There are tough guys, and there's it's corrupt too. So if your boy knows the judge or some shit, you can get off.
Yeah.
You can beat the shit out of people and get away with it.
By the way,
this reminding me.
go ahead, yeah.
No. The Russia thing is reminding me of my grandfather. He always had something to say about any group of people. It could be the most specific group of people. He would give you some kind of general idea of the shortcomings of those people. So we'd be watching a soccer game and there'd be some guy from whatever part of Italy, and he would tell me what people from that part of Italy do.
Oh,
and
cool.
what they're like. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
No, but in a way where he's talking shit, but it was innocent. Whatever.
Yeah.
So he was a prisoner of war. Both of my grandfathers were prisoners of war.
Wow.
I think the Italians just immediately surrendered and were all prisoners of war, if I recall.
Really?
I think so. I think that they did not put up much of a fight.
They fought in Africa. I know that.
But then they joke that the Italians only were able to conquer people who fought them back on horseback. They were in Ethiopia. They were fighting
proxy wars in Africa. They were fighting the Americans, I think. They were fighting the Allied forces in Africa.
That may be true. That may be true.
Think.
Regardless, I know that both of my grandparents were prisoners of war, but my grandfather would always say shit about Russians. And it was funny. A lot of the time, his feedback about groups of people would just end in him swearing and not finishing the thought. But you knew what he meant still. He'd go, Giulietto, the fucking Russian, this fucking. And then that would be the end of it. Which I just fully knew. The Russian, Giulietto, fucking. Or even, he would do it all the time. And then he was talking about my aunt and her old boyfriend. I'm like,
fucking.
I'm like, who's that? He's like, oh, your aunt was in love with this fucking, and then not continue the thing, dude. Just insane.
That's pretty good restraint.
It's pretty good. Real quick, can you bleep? I don't want that to become a problem. There's no way that'll get back to me, but that is the guy's real name.
That's great,
dude. I'll tell you, man. It is nice to encounter a thing like that where you're not involved. You see beef going down. It's exciting. That's why walking around the city is fun. You walk down the same block 85 times and different things are always happening. It's just not fun when you yourself are the protagonist.
Yeah. Right.
And listen, dude, I've gotten really pissed off too in driving situation. I'm like, is that guy fucking serious? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But then I don't necessarily carry it with me and I don't plan to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a little concerned about that for you, but maybe it's buildup, bro. The guy throwing the beer at your car.
Right.
You've had a lot of in the car shit go down.
I think one of the problems, a solution that I could have for this is to buy a much nicer car.
Your car's pretty nice, dude.
It's nice, but I got it for really cheap, and it was pretty dinged up.
They don't know that.
And it is a car that does not particularly suit our needs as a family anymore. We need a bigger car for the 2 dogs
the pups.
and all the stuff we have to bring every time we go somewhere.
Well, at least you got the front and back trunk space, right?
Yeah, that front trunk space is pretty small. It's pretty small. And it doesn't help that Sierra's always like, man, this car is really too small. This isn't great. It's as if I'm heading to a place where it's like the only way for me I'm just going to total my way out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
There's probably decent resale value on those.
Could be. I do love it, though.
Well, dude,
last time you said you hated it.
Well, I go back and forth.
Yeah,
I like driving it, but I think that,
it
I
has
think that
shortcomings.
there's some real shortcomings. Yeah. Ryan, are you wearing some bird dogs?
He
Wow.
sure is.
Must be
Those
nice.
fit you nicely, man.
Perks of the pod.
Those are
Perks
trendy pants too.
of
They
the
have
pod.
so they have the sort of like I don't know how to describe it, but whatever it is this current trend.
The taper.
The taper, but also like with this is hilarious. Me trying to describe the pant.
Yeah.
It's a good looking fucking pant, dude. I'm
Yeah.
about to tell you.
They give you good ankle exposure. I like your ankles.
Yeah, they look
I can
good.
see how skinny they are, and I like that.
Sits nicely on you, Ryan, in your shape.
Well, Ryan's pants look great, and that's because he's wearing bird dogs, guys. We love bird dogs. They have incredible pants that look great. They feel great. They fit great. They have a built-in underwear liner that makes underwear obsolete. It's the all-in-one pant that we have been talking about for years on this podcast. Guys, you can get your own pants, shorts, and joggers. Go to birddogs.com. Use promo code OOPS. That'll get you a signature tumbler with their beautiful Bird Dogs logo on it. That's birddogs.com, promo code OOPS.
So can I throw something in here?
You have to. I've talked the whole time.
Well, I wasn't sure, but no, like I wasn't sure if we like accurately have thought of a path forward for you, or
I'm not sure we have, and I'd like to hear
so
your solutions.
To be continued. I don't know that I have a solution. I mean, it's concerning that you're getting angry about these things, and you should talk to your shrink.
I know, especially at a time when my life is going very well.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with how things are going right now.
That's good.
If I'm objective
That's
about
good,
where
man.
I'm at.
It's good to hear. Good to hear. I know you guys have been working on some shit. That's always probably pretty satisfying, right?
Oh, me and Ryan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We're headed out on the road, man.
Yeah.
The Dusty Trail.
And also you're doing the series. You're doing what's the name of it?
United States of Kids.
Yeah, United States of Kids.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what we are working on
Yeah.
predominantly. But he's also going to come on the road with me for a lot of these amazing stand-up shows that we have coming up on the Hero We Need tour. My God.
Get your tickets.
Just not sure if that's really a great name anymore for a guy who's talking about bashing mirrors
the
off
villain,
cars.
The villain
with
we don't need.
a hydro flask.
Chris, were you going to add something in?
I was just going to say, it sounds like you just need to stop driving and then you'll be fixed.
I guess
Yeah.
you're probably right. Especially in the
true.
city. Yeah, driving the city is
It's a pain in the
hair
ass.
raising.
Well, dude, I took 3 pretty solid L's this weekend. I had my show in St. Pete. It was amazing. Sold out. Thank you for everyone
That's a
who came.
huge dub.
A lot of fun. Had a great time. Love to see it. But this is funny. So I had a couple like situations that I did not handle properly. They weren't necessarily my fault, but they all involve being recognized. Okay. So I'm at the airport and some guy's there and he's wearing a Barstool Golf like zip up thing. And he comes over and he's like, Julio, we're going to be at the show tonight. And I was like, oh, dude, awesome, man. Like, thanks. Shake his hand, like talk for like 10 seconds and then keep going, right? So then the show happens, whatever. The show's then over. And the same guy comes up to me and I realize it's fucking Ryan's dad, dude. I did not fully give him the Ryan's dad hello.
Right.
Not to say I was in no way dismissive. Like, of course, I'm thrilled when people want to
Right.
come talk to me. But I did not sit and talk about Ryan, carry on about Ryan the way that I would have.
Right.
And I felt really self-conscious about it. And your mom was like, you should have told him. You should have told him you were.
Yeah. Well, he called me right after the airport bump in and was like, I just saw Julio. And I'm like, that's awesome. But then he's like, I forgot to mention anything about like the connection. And he's like, I think my dad said like, hey, I'm Keith Lynch. And like you were busy. And it was just, he was like, oh, should have said like I'm Ryan's dad. Like, why didn't I say that?
I wasn't busy, and he had a lot of energy, and I was just like, oh, this is probably like
Probably very excited.
this is a guy who like loves Barstool, maybe like, oh, that's great, like
yeah.
broadening my fan base, amazing. And then it just turns out it's Ryan's dad. I felt super insecure about that, but I hope that they understand.
Oh, there was no.
And we
issue
chatted
there.
after the show for a good amount of
No,
time.
there was no issue.
Good.
I think he was fanboying.
He's the man.
Nice.
And
It was
dude,
funny.
he's very similar to you, dude. Like I see you becoming that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's good. It's not an insult at all. It's
No,
great.
yeah.
He's like
He's-
Ryan.
That was such an awkward.
No,
pause.
Ryan has
No,
like
it's-
very like dadly qualities already.
Yes, he does.
Like his sense of humor, minus his like the like torture bondage obsession. Like he has a very like dad like
bondage.
demeanor. He's like enthusiastic. He's jolly. He's in a good mood.
you ever call him? You ever call that guy?
I have, yeah.
How does he pick up the phone? You know?
I don't remember. What
He
is
goes,
You give me a weird time about
I go,
that.
hey, hi. I go, hi, Ryan. He goes, hello, Francis.
it? Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Hello, Julia.
It's very formal.
Yeah, he eats too many hors d'oeuvres. His girlfriend gives him a hard time. It's very dad
Yep.
like stuff.
Dad issues. yeah.
And his dad
No
was
daddy
his
issues.
dad too was very dadly, and very jolly, really fun guy, dude. I really enjoyed meeting your parents. They're cool.
Thanks. They were
Yeah.
excited too. They said it was a great
It's
show.
nice of them to come.
What were they doing? Is that where do they have a place down there?
They hop back and forth between
Oh,
Jersey
cool.
and Tampa. So
They came to see me in Jersey.
Yeah.
Did I
remember.
have a similar experience where I wasn't sure that they were who they were? Or no, I don't think so,
I'm
right?
not sure. I think they were a little more direct.
They were.
With the
They were.
association.
Yeah.
First time around.
For some reason, that story I had real deja vu when you told it to me on the phone or whatever.
Oh, this.
Yeah, about
yeah.
about meeting
parents?
his dad and not knowing for sure that he was who he was.
So, dude, so I have two others that are I think progressively worse and worse. I'm sitting on the plane, and the flight attendant comes over to me, and she goes, "What are you doing over there? Editing Instagram videos?" And I was like, "Haha, no." And she's like, "Just kidding, like big fan." I was like, "Oh, sick, like
Oh,
very cool." And I'm like, "Oh, like thanks so much, like whatever, you know what I mean? Very chill, like no big deal." Danny Palmer is in the back of the plane, you know, fucking Danny Palmer.
no status.
No big deal. And I text him. I'm like, dude, like the flight attendant is like, whatever. Like, I was like, you should try to get her to come to the show. You know, I know Danny's single. I know he's like, whatever. He's like, oh, dude, really? Wow. Like, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And she like comes to the back of the plane, and then he just goes, oh, I heard you met my boy Julio or something, which just makes me look like a loser. Like I'm like, dude,
Yo, Danny,
dude,
I
got
just met the
recognized.
flight attendant.
Yeah, she knows who I am, dude. She should. And then she comes back. She's like, I heard you ratted me out to your friend. I'm like, no, I wasn't ratting you out. I was like, I was just saying we should like get you to come. And then it was just like really uncomfortable. And then she said she was going to come to the show. Did not come.
Okay, well, here's my question.
Okay.
How should he have gotten to the point of asking her to come to the show without mentioning that he knew you and she had connected?
True. That is a good point. We had just begun establishing this scenario. Like no game plan had been created for him to do it yet. I just didn't think he was going to go right into it like 3 minutes after.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
You think that you think he did it right?
I don't even think he did it right. I just don't think he necessarily had a choice, or that you gave him hey, we should try to get this woman to come to the show for you. You're a single guy, but let's not be stupid about it. You know, let's be cool.
Let me see what I said. I mean, it's gonna take me forever to find it, but I think I just assumed like maybe it would be something like I don't know. I thought that I had like I just didn't think he would do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like weird.
Yeah, but if I were a single guy and you were sitting in the front of the plane and you texted me and you said, "Hey, I just met the flight attendant. She's a fan. She's whatever, cute. You're single, Francis." Maybe you didn't say that, but like you should try to get her to come to the show. When I saw her, I might have been like, you know, my buddy Julio up front.
This is what happened.
I could have said
Yes,
that.
100%. He didn't mention the show. All he did was say, I heard you met my buddy Julio up front, and didn't say anything else about the show. And I said, did you invite her? And he goes, no, I should have. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Now I just look like it's completely undercuts me because now I look as if that doesn't happen to me all the time. I look over eager. I'm like, can you believe someone knew who I was? Like,
someone who works for the airline.
wow. Yeah, maybe she'll give me, dude, it's
Wings.
It's super stupid. Okay, so dude, both of those pale in comparison to the last one.
Oh, goody.
Okay. So, like, one of my best friend's cousins came to the show. Her name's Laurel. Very cool girl. She lives down there. And her 2 friends were at the show as well. We all went out after. Me, Zach, Danny, Laurel and her friends. And we're standing at this spot in St. Pete that's like a spot. It's called Dirty Laundry or something. And it's like you open a washer dryer and there's a bar behind it.
Oh, cool.
It's cool, but it's funny.
Speakeasy-ish.
Yeah, it's funny because I've noticed that in a lot of cities that are a little bit smaller, people like will carry on about stuff like that. But like people here don't as much.
They
Maybe
used
we're
to.
spoiled.
They used to.
Oh, and then you open the airplane
Yeah.
fuel tank and
But
there's a man in there.
and
he's
you
dead.
speak Portuguese to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, we did though.
Yeah.
New York did. We just had it first and then got over it.
But remember the sneaker store in Boston and the
Yes,
Sprite machine?
I do. That was sick. People
Yeah.
got excited
It was.
about that.
It is sick.
Bodega was what that
Bodega,
was called.
yeah,
We had a speakeasy here that was called PDT. Please don't tell. And you had to go into a phone booth and
Yeah,
dial
yeah.
a number, and then the door
At
would
Criff
open.
Dogs,
Yeah,
right on St. Mark's.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went there, and back then it was like that. People,
That
this
was
is-
sick,
this is
right?
part of the experience. It's cool, and we were all excited to go.
Yeah.
But now if someone's like that bar, it's hidden behind a telephone pole. You're like, I don't.
You're like, I'm
I'm just gonna go to the one that has the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, it is a cool bar, like cool setup, whatever. So I'm standing in the outdoor area, right? These 2 women walk over to me and they're like, "Hey, she's from out of town. Can we get a picture?" And I was like, "Of course." Like, "Oh my God." Like, "Yeah, of course, of course." I put my arm around them and I'm like, "What's your name? Like, where are you from?" And they're looking at me like I'm fucking insane. They're like, and I realize we're standing in front of like the iconic neon sign. They were asking me to move out of the way so they could take a picture. And in front of my whole group, I do this.
Wow.
And they were like, wow. They're like, that is, and I just like, I did one of these. I like put my hand over my brow and exited. And I just got crushed for the rest of the night by the group.
That's tough.
But dude, like, obvious, like, how was I supposed to fucking know?
No.
It lined up perfectly. It was the perfect misunderstanding.
It's not your fault at all.
And they weren't my demographic. It was like 2 women. It looked like a woman and her mom, or even
Yeah.
her grandma.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow, like, wow.
Imagine if it had been Ryan's mom and sister. Oh no!
Not
The whole
again.
Family.
We just met you, dude. Oh, that's right.
I guess we should have mentioned that we're Ryan's mom and sister.
So, dude, just getting crushed, bro. Just left and right.
It's
Taking
a tricky thing. I don't blame you for that at all, of course. And I think one of the reasons too is that like a lot of the time I've had this happen where, I'll be taking, meeting people after the show, taking pictures with people, and I'll take a picture with someone and they come up and they're like, I feel really weird asking, but is there any chance? I'm so sorry. Like, I'm embarrassed. Like, is there any chance we could do a picture? I'm like, yeah, of course. What do you mean? No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
100%.
And therefore I've also had experiences where I'm like talking to someone and I think they're nervous to ask me if they can take a picture, and I have volunteered it. Like, would you like to take a picture?
Yeah.
And I've even had one guy be like, no.
Can't do it.
And then I'm like, I didn't really want one either. I mean,
Oh no, yeah,
what
you
the
can't.
I didn't mean of me. Did you want me to take a picture of you? I don't know.
You want to know the solution to that? The only way you offer it is if you see them looking at their phone, and all you have to say is, should we? Should we?
Let's take a pic.
Should we? Because like sometimes you're right. Like you can sense that person is a little too shy to ask, but you don't want them to be like, I should have asked, because bro, I'll fucking take a picture with you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I look
agree.
forward to the day where too many people are asking me where I can't take them all anymore.
Yes.
But that is nowhere near being close.
I think I could speak for both of us when I say that we are a long way
Long
from
way.
turning down photos. So if anyone here has ever wanted a photo at a show or to say hi, bring it on.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute yes.
It's a pleasure. We love having you there,
yeah.
and we are very grateful that you were willing to buy tickets to our show.
Plenty of time.
All right, so I
Plenty
got
of
one
time.
more thing before we wrap this up that I think you'll find slightly funny. We went to a drive-through at the end of the night, Zach, my manager, who was on Australian time. He came directly from Australia
Jesus.
to St. Pete for a one-nighter. I'm like, bro,
Oh my God.
this is commitment.
Yeah.
So he's like, can we grab a snack? I'm like, sure. We go to Checkers. We are at the like place to pay, and I want to make sure that I get this exactly right because it was insane. But we pull up and we have to pay, and the guy goes $10.99, like the fucking tax form, man. I was like, that's pretty good. And we're like, how's your night going? He goes, I'm just waiting to shut this motherfucker down.
Wow.
Like, what? He goes, yeah, I just got off probation this morning. And he's just like going on and on about his life story. And we're just kind of like,
How about those curly fries?
mhm.
Yeah.
Dude. And then he like gives us the fries and we're sitting there and Zach's looking at the fries. He's like, dude, I can't explain this, but I don't think I can eat these. And it fully made sense. I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what about that was so weird,
Yeah.
but you can't eat those, dude. You got to toss them. We tossed them. That was it,
Did
man.
you really?
Yeah.
Both of you?
But dude, I'm not like a late night eater, thank God.
Yeah.
I have many vices, so that is one that I fortunately do not have. Yeah, I don't need that habit. So no,
Yeah.
I was never going to eat them, but he was intending to. It was like fucking noon for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Tossed him.
Wow.
But
Okay.
dude, great show, good times.
Yeah.
Ryan, you got anything for us?
Facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. Are they his parents? Facts with Ryan.
Francis has managed to keep the Facts with Ryan intro quite original.
It's hard.
Appreciate it.
I've run through a lot of words that rhyme with Ryan.
There's a lot. So at the beginning, we talked about splitting the check. This might be out of the question for you guys with your circles, but if one person is throwing a card down, if you're out to a restaurant, there's plenty of apps where you can just put in the exact amount of things that you got. So if you're not a drinker, there's an app called Splitwise.
Yes.
And yeah, that's something I would suggest doing if you're running into that issue. And then the Meow Mix jingle was composed by Tom McFull back in the 70s.
Very nice.
Wow.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
70s. That's been around a long time.
Awesome,
I want
bro.
chicken. I want liver. Meow mix, please deliver. Remember Dr. Evil did it?
Oh,
For
yeah.
Mr. Bigglesworth. Classic.
Classic.
Guys.
What do you got coming?
Boy, oh boy. Well, we were in Philly last night. That was epic.
How was it?
Epic.
Sick. I have no idea.
No, I mean, it's next week.
Run it back.
Yeah. I'm assuming the Philly shows went awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. This weekend, guys, I'm in Atlanta at the Earl. There might be a few tickets left for the late show. I'm not sure. If there are, get them now. And then on Sunday for the late show in Nashville at Zany's, there might be a few tickets left. I'm not sure. Tickets at francisellis.com. Then we're on to Dallas and Chicago and Austin, Texas at Vulcan Gas Company, as well as Minneapolis. Minneapolis is next. So tickets, guys, at francisellis.com. Can't wait to see you for the Hero We Need tour.
Hell yeah. And you guys, I'm sorry about my Atlanta. I love Francis just fully. I announced my Atlanta show before Francis even had one. And now Francis not only has a show and a date, but I still do not have a show or a date. But it's supposed to be happening. Hey, call my agents, huh?
Yeah.
So we're figuring it out. I should be down there soon. I'm looking forward to it. When are you there again specifically?
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
This Saturday.
Okay, cool.
Like
So I just want to make sure that we
two
are.
or 3 days from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was tentatively scheduled for April. Keep you posted on that. I'm at the DC Improv 3rd to the 5th of March. That's going to be amazing. Really psyched for that show. Come on down. I'm at the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island on the 14th and 15th of April, as well as Yonkers Comedy Club at the end of April. Also, I'm going to be at the Pro Bowl. If any of you guys are out there,
Sick.
hit me up, dude. I'll tell that story when I get back.
Wow.
But
Awesome.
looking forward to that. And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. See you soon.